Well, as judges go, she's probably more recognizable to more Americans than that guy presiding over the trial of the president. What's his name? Oh, yeah, Rehnquist or something. Anyway, she's Judge Judy, and she'll be with us in a few minutes. Also today, Pittsburgh talker emeritus Doug Hoerth, which means I won't have to do much talking myself for a change. And, hey, let's beat up on the airline industry. The friendly skies are getting to be anything but. So we better get this show on the road. It's Cullen on cable. Okay, in just a few minutes, we're going to be talking to Judge Judy. She's got a new book out in her usual style. It's Beauty Fades, Dumb is Forever. It's really written mostly to women who she feels put a lot of their energy into, looking a certain way and this, and don't deal with what they need to, which has nothing to do with how they look. It has to do with how they think. That kind of thing. Okay, wait a minute. Here, got to press a button I forgot to do. Doug Hoerth will be spending most of the hour with us, and for you Doug fans, feel free to have at him. For that matter, feel free to have at me. 333-PCNC, it's the phone number. You can attempt to access this program in a more personal way at any point during the hour. But what we usually do here at the top is I like to, vent some spleen, and I have a wonderful target today, airlines. Now, some of you may not fly a lot. Some of you may fly quite a bit. Some of you, like me, fly occasionally. All I can tell you is things are getting very uncomfortable up there. And I'm not the only one to have noted this. Obviously, others have as well. And today on the Today Show, they brought in their travel editor. What's his name? Oh, yeah, Peter Greenberg, to talk about the fact that the airlines are really, they're asking for it, let me tell you. And there are, wait, I just pulled this off the Associated Press. Excuse me. I had a teacher who did that when I was my third grade teacher. And it used to drive me crazy. It used to make me sick. And you know what? I'm starting to do it. Is that something that, what is that? I mean, it does come in handy to wet your finger on occasion. That kind of thing. Anyway, 2 decades it's been since the airline industry was deregulated. We want to thank Ronald Reagan. Thank you, Ronnie. And I'll tell you, even Republicans in Congress are saying, these guys left to their own devices are really not playing fair. So you've got Republican senators and congressmen, as well as Democrats, pushing what amounts to a Bill of Rights for people who fly. John McCain being one of the Republicans behind this, and he says, man, they're making money hand over fist, and they're squeezing us in more and more, and it's got to stop. Don't you love it when Republicans talk tough to business? Oh, gosh. Anyway, we call this back talk. Come on.
They kind of snuck them in last Friday night, about 4% on most flights. And that's unusual because at this time...
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Sort of cut him off. They all raised their rates about 4% just a few days ago. As he said, they snuck them in. Okay, back you go.
You don't expect to see fare hikes in February.
So why are they doing this?
Because they think they can.
Because aren't the airlines doing well?
They're doing very well. You see, fuel prices are very low. If they're so low, the airlines are going to save another $360 million this year.
So they're just being greedy here.
I think they're being greedy. Yeah.
And they'll get away with it?
Well, there's a seething undercurrent of anger out there among passengers because not only are the airlines raising the fares, they're redeploying their aircraft on routes that they don't think make enough money. They're sending them somewhere else. Like on the Las Vegas route, which is a very popular route, the actual number of flights into Las Vegas has decreased, even though the flights are full, because the airlines think they can make more money flying the planes to South America. So
They're greedy and sneaky.
Yes, they are.
All right, that's it. That's true. They're greedy and sneaky. Oh, let the free market decide. It always works. Well, here's the free market. Deregulate them and let them have at you. They'll screw you up and they'll screw you down. And guess who doesn't like getting screwed? All of those Congress people that have to fly back and forth to and from Washington and their districts. And so, they're uncomfortable. So you get this effort to rein in the industry. For instance, you know what they're going to suggest? That when you buy a ticket, you might buy a ticket from these jerks, and they're selling you the ticket, they're taking your money, a non-refundable ticket, telling you that once you sign on, you can't ever get out without us penalizing you. They make tons of money on poor people who do end up having to change their reservations. At any rate, they are now able to sell you a ticket when they know darn well they've oversold the plane. Hello? They sell you what you think is a reserved seat, and there is no seat. And you don't know that till you get there. And then everybody sits on the plane while they try to talk some folks into getting off, overbooking. That will not be able to happen unless they inform you as you buy the ticket that you're already on an overbooked flight. Also, how many times have you come up to get on a plane and they've said, I am sorry, we are having mechanical difficulties. And you sit and you sit and you sit, and before long they've gotten you into another plane. You know what that often is about? It's not mechanical difficulties. They don't have enough passengers on that plane. It's not going to be cost effective for them to put that baby up in the air, despite the fact that it was on the schedule and despite the fact that you have a connecting flight somewhere and you've got important business. No, they're going to cancel it and blend it in with another undersold flight, and they're going to lie to you about what that's about. That would be against the law again if the feds get back into some regulation of these wonderful capitalists who own the airlines. Also, frequent flyer seats. A lot of us are piling up frequent flyer miles because now you can do it with a credit card. Every time you buy your groceries, every dollar is a mile. People have hundreds of thousands of frequent flyer miles that are supposedly good for free flights. Try to get one. So that's going to be looked into. Now, this is just another instance of what has happened when you let this runaway capitalism get out of hand. You see what's happening with the banks lately? The consolidation. Yes, the consolidation of banks. If you don't have enough money in your account, they want you out of the bank. They don't want to keep your stupid few thousand. So the poorest people who have the least money are being charged more. You're getting charged for checking. Other people with a little more money who could afford to be charged for checking aren't. It's not particularly nice. HMOs, medical care, you paying more but getting less. Airlines, you paying more but getting less. The same day that Delta Airlines raised their fares 4%, you know what else they did? They stopped serving sandwiches on 140 flights. The sandwiches had already been reduced to these, I don't want to call them a sandwich, it's a joke. It's like a little thing like this with one little hunk of ham on it. Now, that's gone. You know what you're going to get? Carrots and dip. Make that probably too little of those teeny carrots and a little thing of dip. And they're raising the prices you're going to pay. So, greed, as Katie Couric so properly characterized it, running rampant. Remember gas stations? Remember that way back when you'd pull in and somebody would jump and they would pump your gas? They were called service stations. And they'd pump your gas and check the oil and check the air pressure, tire pressure, and all that kind of stuff. And the prices were really low. And then remember, the prices shot way up. You couldn't believe what a gallon of gas cost. The prices shot up, and the little guys who came out and actually provided service left. You ended up paying twice as much, and you had to pump your own. It's just more of the same. Anyway, I feel better having gotten all that off my chest. They're greedy and they're sneaky. Now I'd like to see them hauled in front of Judge Judy. The only one who's going to be in front of Judge Judy in just a minute is me. I hope I don't rub her the wrong way. She scares me a little bit. Stay tuned for Judge Judy, and after Judge Judy, Doug Hoerth. What a show. We'll be right back.
Put your things in the car and you move. If it bothers you so much, you don't stay there 3 years and then come and bother me.
The problem didn't last that long.
What if it lasted 2.5 years and you couldn't afford to get up and move? What is wrong with you people? Don't you have anything better to do with your time? Seriously, don't you have anything better to do with your
Only one morning talk show brings you the day's most important headlines
All the Pakistani women are extremely happy.
and intriguing guests.
She's amply endowed, and she likes to show off her features.
With just a dash of opinion.
I think that is an outrage. It is none of our damn business.
Weekday mornings at 10, it's Cullen on Cable.
Oh, what I'll do to fill an hour.
Only on the Pittsburgh Cable News Channel.
I said at the beginning of the show, and I was not being facetious, that I'm sure that Judge Judy is more recognizable to most Americans than is that judge who's presiding over that trial in, let's see, where is that? Washington, D.C., what's his name? Rehnquist, that's right. Judge Judy is probably the most popular judge in this country, and I'll tell you, here in Pittsburgh, her program, which airs on WPXI at 4 o'clock, is the #1 rated show. More people watching that at 4 o'clock in Pittsburgh than anything else. It's a hot syndicated program. Judge Judy's hot. She's hot as an author, too. Her latest book, Beauty Fades Dumb. It's forever. Judge Judy, a pleasure to have you with us.
Thanks, Lynn.
Where do you get time to do all this stuff? My heavens. You're writing books? You're presiding over real cases?
Well, my children are all grown and out of the house. That's a start.
Aha.
So I don't have to deal with all the things that I had to do when they were younger. You know, the running around trying to balance career with family at home. My husband is almost self-sufficient, and we eat out a lot.
You know, I was going to ask you what you wear under those black robes. I guess we're getting to see a little bit today. You know, we're used to seeing you in that robe.
Just a pair of slacks and a shirt. See? Simple, easy.
Now, Beauty Fades Dumb is Forever. It's a great title, much as your last book, Don't Pee on My Leg and Tell Me It's Raining. This book is really aimed at your gender, is it not? You're talking to women in this book.
I'm talking to women and men who want to understand women a little bit better. Telling women that it's time for them to start abdicating, both to other people in their social lives and people in business, that it's time for them to stand up and be whole human beings. And some of the tips that I've sort of learned and culled from my professional career, I talk a little bit about women in business, that women want to be liked. I mean, they want to be liked at home. They are peacemakers at home. They're negotiators at home. They want to be liked in business. They're afraid to be called the B word in business. Men would prefer to be respected. They don't give a rat's behind whether you like them or whether you don't like them, but they want to be respected and they want to get paid. Women, on the other hand, if you pat them on the head and say how terrific you are and how we rely on you, we couldn't get along without you, they accept that in lieu of something extra special in their paycheck. So I talk about a little bit about women in business and about women at home with their mates and with their kids, and some of my own funny stories from my own personal life.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be liked, is there?
Oh, it's good to be liked, but if you are going to be liked in lieu of being recognized as the professional that you are in business, I think eventually you come to resent it. You know, you may not resent it and you may not display that while you're in the workplace, but you get home and you say to yourself, I'm really a fool. I'm doing all the work. Those are my ideas. Somebody's getting credit for it. Somebody's getting paid for it. I'm not. And I just keep chugging away. So you begin to feel foolish yourself. And we've done that historically. I mean, starting out from the time where young women are probably 2 years old, you know, you have to be the peacemaker, you're the negotiator, you're the one that smooths everything over. And as a result of which, we've shortchanged ourselves.
But Judge Judy, we live in a culture in which we are told, and it is underscored all the time, that being strong is not particularly a feminine virtue, that being bright is not necessarily feminine, that in fact strength and smarts in women can turn men off.
Well, it depends upon the guy. If you set your heart and your mind to the feeling that you are only half a person unless you have a mate, and it doesn't matter what and who that mate is, just as long as you have somebody, then you're going to shortchange yourself. You know, I have a husband who's a great guy and who's not perfect. Believe me, he's not perfect. But he's always relished in my success. He's always been a cheerleader for my career, as I am for his. And if the mate that you have chosen, or who chooses you, is threatened by your success, is threatened by your achievement, then you've chosen wrong, because you're going to hide yourself under a blanket your whole life. That's going to lead to a very unsatisfying, unhappy life for you.
You know, a lot of people they're tuned into this and they're thinking, wait a minute, is she all of a sudden a psychologist? I thought she was a judge. How do you get from being Judge Judy to writing this book, which sounds like a psychologist might have written?
Well, no, it's really not. It really is a result of spending 25 years in the family court, where I saw tens of thousands of women, some of them very bright, some of them very articulate, but so many of them not recognizing their own potential and allowing themselves to live in situations that were both emotionally frustrating, sometimes abusive, to physically abusive, because they needed to be part of a couple. And then I moved on to another industry where I saw some very talented women who were in second-class positions being paid second-rate salaries because they didn't know how to play the good old boys game. So this is not a psychology book at all. This is telling you, based upon my experience, that you got one life to live. And unless you want to think about coming back as a beetle or as a bird or as a sheep. But this is your one chance to shine. And if you're going to allow anybody, whether it's your colleagues at work, your bosses, your mate, your children, family, to hold you down, you're the one that's going to suffer.
You say somewhere in the book, don't try to change your mate. He's not going to change, or he doesn't want to change. And yet, we do always expect that women are capable of change. Why do we always say men can't? Women, of course, there's all these books coming your way. You can.
Because we start out with the premise that it's more important for a woman to have a mate in her life than it is for a man to have a mate in his life, until he's old and needs somebody to take care of him. And we teach our daughters, you know, they're given the playthings, you know, in the kitchen. They're supposed to make somebody a meal, and they're supposed to nurse somebody. You know, we make them nurses' outfits, right? We used to give our sons doctors and stethoscopes, but the girls were the nurses. Always second, never really in charge. And that has to change. I mean, we've done a reasonable job, but I still see throwbacks to that. Women are better negotiators, because I really believe that women are multi-process thinkers. You know, they have to plan. If they want to have a career and they want to have a family, there's a lot more planning that a woman has to do. You know, she has to plan on the school trip and taking to the doctor and the dentist and the orthodontist. The man usually, you know, goes out, goes to work, and Friday it's golf or Saturday it's golf. So women are naturally bred to be more of the negotiator and peacemaker.
Well, I'll tell you what, they can take those skills and make a lot of money out there, and if you can't do that, maybe you should read Judge Judy's book first. Beauty Fades, Dumb is Forever. We'll see you at 4 o'clock, as we always do here in Pittsburgh. Thanks, Judge Judy.
Thank you, Lynn.
Appreciate it. Beauty fades, dumb be forever. Yeah, Doug Hoerth coming by in just a moment. He ain't dumb. I didn't mean anything by that. He's cute, too. He's going to show you his thumbs in just a moment. Why? Stay tuned.
The official transportation provider of Cullen on Cable is Pittsburgh Limousine, the one clear choice in transportation.
Well, he's not wearing a robe and a little white doily at his neck. No. It's Doug Hoerth, whose voice is probably more known to you than the face. And we got to.
And when you see the face, you know why the voice is more familiar.
There it is.
Where's Judge Judy? Is she under here?
No,
What's going
she's
on?
not. You have to show your. She was on the satellite. You have to show your thumbs. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a big debate about these.
Here they are. Those are. Actually, show them to this camera.
Okay.
Now they aren't inordinate.
Nothing the matter with those. Now, do you want to see the middle finger?
Well, We had somebody call who said she saw you on McIntyre's show, and she said his thumbs look longer than his finger. Here, hold up your hand like this so they can see. It's not true. There, because you were slandered on this.
All right, now here it is, folks. Well, this is High Class TV. Doug Hoerth shows his hands. Very exciting. What a show.
Okay, well, here, and I have to do this, and then we can get down to business. I got this letter 2 days ago. Dear Lynn, I'm a fan of yours and Doug Hoerth. If you like him, please be nice to him on your TV show on Friday. I watched the day Dimitri was on. It was obvious you do not like him.
Which is how I wound up on the show. She doesn't like Dimitri. I said, if you can have him on, the least you can do is have me on.
That's true.
And she was nice enough to say, okay.
I said, you're right. If I had him, I should definitely have you. Okay. He maligned Judge Judy the minute he walked into the studio. What did you say? You would support assassination?
No, I shouldn't have said
yeah, well,
deportation would be nice.
That would be better,
all of these gurus, because they're on television, and people flock to them, you know, from Oprah on up and down the line. And now she's writing a book, and all these, I don't know, people in need of lives are going, oh, look what Judge Judy said. Listen to Dr. Laura. They're going to take us out of the darkness and set us free. What garbage. Come on. What is this? What have we turned into?
They're looking for something, Doug.
But people look here, 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 and here. They can look here. They can look as close as this.
They don't trust themselves. They don't trust themselves.
The farther away, the more abstract, somehow, the more perfect it is. We sell ourselves out so cheap in our society. We really do, when it comes to who it is we're going to follow.
We don't have self-respect, which is what they write books about.
That's what Judge Judy was saying.
That's right. We don't have any self-esteem or something.
Put it to you another way. Give her a cookie and tell her to go away.
So, have you ever watched her show?
Sure have.
You don't like?
No, I can't.
You don't think she's right when she's making these judgments?
I can't conceive of why these people go on the show to do the song, and I mean, it's the 15 minutes of fame. That's
right.
That's what it's like. People who call an 800 number, whatever it is, ask Dr. Laura. No offense, Dr. Laura, I call Dr. Lulu, and Lulu backwards is Ulu. So that's what I refer to as. And these people come out of the darkness to call Dr. Laura. Questions that, from Freud on up and down the line, they've never been able to come up with an answer. She gives you the answer with like a minute and a half, insults the living. That's the other thing.
Oh, she brutalizes.
You get on the phone. Hello, stupid. They start that way and it goes downhill. But I guess it's good entertainment. It's soap opera for people. Most people listen. They are not personally involved, and that's part of the fun. They can get involved in somebody else's problems.
Hear, hear. Well, you know, and this is true in talk radio, that the caller is really a pawn, right? Is a pawn. You're not the person who calls. We shouldn't say this because we'd like some calls, too.
Without callers, we're nothing, to be truthful.
No, we can't do it without the caller, but yet the person who does call becomes what? A pawn in the game that is what you are doing.
You're producing, directing, and coordinating a telephone call in your head, and you're creating this kind of an audio screenplay. So he's a cast. He's a member of this, two-person cast of characters.
He's walked in, but he or she has to be entertaining because who you're really doing the thing
not,
for.
You blow them off. Very simple.
No, it's not very simple.
Well, for you, it isn't, because you're a much nicer person than I am, but we established that many years ago.
It is so hard to do that.
No, they just go, boom.
So I suffer callers who are boring me if they sound maybe old and a little unsure. It's very hard for me to be... You've got this smile playing around your lips.
I heard the person call you the other day, said, hello, Perry, and I said, wait a minute, and you were nice to that person. I didn't. Perry called me. Did Perry call you, by the way? Perry Marshall?
He has.
I got a phone call from the other day. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, it is. It is. So that says the talk show host listen to talk show hosts. Do you listen? No.
Do I listen to talk shows on the radio? Truthfully, no. And the reason I don't want to be influenced by other talk shows. I don't even, to share how weird I really am, I love George Cullen, but I have not watched a George Cullen concert in years, because George Cullen, I'm afraid he's going to say something, and I'm going to say, I wish I had said that. My point is, if we both wind up saying it, I don't want to say, well, I got this from George Cullen. Right. I got it from me. I do a whole bit about religious movies, okay? Edward G. Robinson and the Ten Commandments with a pinky ring and a cigar going, you're going to follow that monk? Don't follow him across the air. Go with me. And he's got the guy next to him who played Chief Wild Eagle on F Troop. And in another movie, Barabbas was Harry Gardino with a New York accent going, I don't want to die, man. I stole some donuts. Leave me alone. But the point is, I found out after doing this bit that Billy Crystal had done something similar 4 or 5 years ago. People said, you ripped off Billy Crystal. No, I didn't. It's just that I came to the same conclusion that Billy Crystal did, that biblical movies can be very funny.
Heaven knows they can. So can Doug Hoerth doing biblical movies, and he didn't steal it from Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
And he didn't steal anything from George Carlin. Got that right. Although the guy in Boston did, and look what it did to him.
Stole from George. Oh, that's right. Oh, and he's a good writer, too.
He was a good writer.
His name I can't think of.
Mike Barnacle. Hey, listen, 333 PCNC. If you want to talk, if you don't want to talk, it's okay. Guess what? We can talk. I suppose you know that. Doug Hoerth, who's now on WPTT 1360 from 3 to 6, back in the saddle, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Cullen on Cable is sponsored in part by McCardle Surgical. Access your world.
Doug Hoerth just reminded me that Rip Torn is in town. Cool name, cool guy,
I got to tell you a Rip Taylor joke about Rip Torn. When Rip Taylor was on, he said, Rip Torn was married to Geraldine Page. As Rip would say, do you know what was read on the mailbox? Torn Page. I just had to get that in. I feel so much better now. I love Rip Torn.
You know, I never could understand. You try to picture them together, Geraldine Page and Rip Torn. She looked I mean, he doesn't look so hot, but she always looked a lot older than him. And
I think she was older, but in her day, Jerry Page was a very attractive woman, and of course
a great actress. I know, a great actress. Oh,
motion picture classic.
I know. So she died young, do you think?
No, she was up there, but
she was up there and older than him.
I'm guessing she had 10 or 12 years on him.
Okay. We got Paul on the line. Paul, go ahead. You're talking to Doug.
Doug.
Hi.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I didn't know you were on 1360 right now. You know, I don't want to talk about the last station you worked for or anything, because I think they did you, Lynn, Ruth Ann, even Dimitri. You know, he was controversial, everybody, but I just can't believe that they would put the sports thing on and leave you people out in the cold. I'm glad to see you're back on 1360. I didn't know that. You know, I just think, you know, you've always been great as far as just, you know, listening in the afternoon, you, Lynn, everybody.
All right, well, we're all back, see?
Yeah.
I'm there from 12 to 3, he's there from 3 to 6, and Dr. Lulu's 9 to noon.
That sounds great, but you know what? There's only so much sports talk you can take, and honest to goodness, I just happened to be off today, and I looked on the TV, and I saw both of you. I'm like, oh, my God, it's like a reunion. And you know what I really miss? You're going to have the Gabathon again.
Oh, God.
The Gabathon was the best.
The only good thing about the Blavathon, the only good thing.
We didn't like them.
The food was pretty decent.
How could you not like that?
Would you want to spend 9 straight hours in a room with a bunch of talk shows?
The only time that Lynn and I have ever really had substantive conversations have been in Blavathons, because she'd be leaving, I'd be coming in, right?
Yeah.
There were always 2 minutes here.
It was always too much for me. I don't know.
Really? But you know what, though? I feel bad I never called your shows, you know, when you were on. And then they're gone. It's just like anything else.
Geez.
You know, it'd be like the Pittsburgh, you know, the Pirates and the Steelers. I haven't gone to a game for a couple years.
Okay, but we're back. We're back. Now, Doug, you would have shown Paul the door sooner than I did there, right?
Shown who the door?
Paul, the caller.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yeah.
You would have cut him off.
Yeah, no offense, but I would have cut him off. Hello, how are you? Good to be back. I miss you. Pop, goodbye, thank you.
See? Now, here is a guy who called, who could not say enough, because he repeated it again and again. How he was glad to see you, how he this and that, and you would be rude.
Not would be rude. I'd say thank you very much. I appreciate it. Wait for the natural pause, and then just move on. And by the way, people expect that. I really and truly believe that more and more people expect it. We live in this MTVized world where everything is like this. You keep it going, you keep it going, you keep it going, you keep it going. And I really and truly believe that people understand that. You know, I'm here for X number of seconds or minutes or whatever.
You see this button here?
Yeah.
Okay. I will give you control of when to drop any of these callers. Okay? Here it is. Here's the drop. Okay.
I hit that.
Except I don't even, you hit this one right here. It says drop. Carl, go ahead, but Doug's got his button, you know, the button. Carl.
Yes.
Thanks for the call, Carl. 333 PCNC is the telephone number. 333 PCNC.
You're brutal. See, you're brutal. But that's funny.
I love to go through.
See, but meanwhile, there's this poor guy named Carl who bothered to go to the phone and call because we asked, why would he come back?
The heck out of me. What I love to do, only because I find it funny, and it is borderline cruel, is to take 4 calls in a row. Hello, Doug. Hi, how are you? I just keep going on down the line. I've done that. And, I mean, you know, the truth of the matter is if a caller, you said it earlier, a caller is a pawn. You are using this caller to hopefully make what you do more entertaining. You can't
Well, that's what I was saying before. All callers beware.
You are a prop, is what you are,
Okay,
to be perfectly truthful.
Okay.
If you had any brains, you would never call this show, and for God's sake, don't call John McIntyre.
Okay, Lynn. Lynn.
Yes.
Doug just said if you had any brains, you would never call the show.
Well, I can't call him because I work at a mail order in the afternoon, but the other day he was asking who was listening to him other than salesmen and cars. And I work in a place that's very noisy, so I sit with a Walkman on, and I listen to him in the afternoon. But I wish sometimes I could call him, but we're not allowed to make calls outside of the company. So
Well, I appreciate the fact that you call. How long have you been a listener?
I've listened to you over at the other station for years and years. You've hung up for me a few times at the other station when you used to be on in the morning. I was one of those ones, I would start to speak, and you would just hang right up on me, and I never got a chance to say anything.
Oh, okay.
But,
Well, you've been listening for a lot of years. You must have a very strong stomach.
I don't like you, but...
You don't like? That's okay. Lynn, I'm not too crazy about you, but we thank you very much.
You're entertaining.
Thanks very much for the call. 333
Well, see how quick you did that as soon as she said, I don't
like you. Fooling you. What am I, a masochist? Get rid of this bro.
Hey,
I don't care.
Carl is back.
And by the way, that's another interesting thing. Forgive me for taking over the show, folks. But she said I don't like you, but she listens, okay?
Yeah, no.
We cannot exist with just the people who like us.
Oh, God, no.
Okay? There are people who listen who pray that we are verbally assassinated on the air. There's this 10%, 15% of the ultimate masochist, and I don't know what it is. I mean, if you watch a movie and you hate the movie, I walk out. If you're watching a television show and you don't like it, you tune it out. Why in heaven's name would you listen to a talk show host on the radio? It was a record you wouldn't. Why would you listen if you don't like it? I never could figure that out. We need you, though, because you have about 30% of the people who think you're okay, 30% of the people, and then you're going to be another 30% who think you're the greatest, and this is rap gum, and then there's this 10% of people who have loathing and contempt. I don't think she had loathing and contempt. She just said she didn't like them.
Right.
But call back if you have Carl has loathing and contempt.
Carl has called back, and other people who loathe you are on the line. Maybe a few like him, too.
Well, I'm going to put my hearing aid in so I can hear these people.
Doug is outfitting himself. His hearing aid, it's buzzing.
Yes, it is. So am I. Okay, there we go.
Well, his mouth works.
Okay. Go ahead, Carl.
We'll be back. No, we're taking a break. We're taking a break. Doug Hoerth, when we return, he's got the button. Not me. All right, welcome back. Doug Hoerth, my guest. Doug Hoerth, who was off the airwaves for just a little while, and he couldn't take it, and neither could many of you. So he's back on 1360 AM. That's WPTT. I'm there from noon to 3, and then he's there from 3 to 6, and what could be better? So there you have it. We got a whole bunch of callers.
Great
here.
fun to be back on the radio, too. I knew I would miss it, but I didn't think I would miss it to the degree that I did. I came this close to going to Las Vegas. I was offered a gig out there, an FM station. I always wanted to do FM talk.
Well, why didn't you do it?
It was a midday show. The money was great.
What was
it was the guy who was hiring me was consulting, and he was ultimately going away. And then they were going to hire another guy who would oversee, which meant that the guy was inheriting me after a 3-month period, a 4-month period. And I don't like working for somebody who didn't hire me, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
I'm sure this has happened to you. The person who hires you hired because they like you. The next guy comes in and says, I don't like him. Why? I don't know, I just don't like him.
That's right.
And it was obviously a major change going to Vegas. If I'd been 15 years younger and hadn't had 19 years in Pittsburgh, I might have taken the shot. But I opted to stay here for reasons I've never been able to figure out.
Well, we're all
I do like it.
richer for it, absolutely. You know, the first week you were back on, I was listening, and you could just feel your joy in your voice. I mean, you were just energized and...
In fact, the rooms, our studio is not totally soundproof. Why, I don't know.
It, yeah.
And there are 3 radio stations there, and Jack Bogut is like way down the hall. Jack can hear my show. All right, well, he's doing his. I don't know how amused Jack is.
Because you're so loud, it goes right through.
People in the front office can hear the show. People in, we're in Green Tree, people in Monroeville, when they turned the power down, they could still hear me. That's sort of how that happens. Folks, this is a hearing aid, okay? I haven't got a wax condition. Carl's back. Great, let's talk to Carl.
Okay, here's Carl. Now, you hung up on Carl the first time. Carl?
Doug, how are you?
Hey, Carl, good to talk to you. We appreciate it. 333 PCNC. Give us a ring on that. That's Carl the Butcher. I can
That
do that.
you don't know who this
I will
Carl
bet you
is.
$1 that is Carl the Butcher. Carl called back. I swear we won't do it again. Carl the Butcher.
Carl, I can tell you're an adult human being, so you're fully capable of making
No, I
your own
recognize the
decisions.
voice, seriously.
Oh, you really do?
He would not be upset at me.
He would not.
No.
You're so full of it. You are so
It's my
full of it
pal.
all
That's
the
Carl
time.
the Butcher. Call back and prove it.
All right, all right. Lynn is here. This is a different Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Lynn?
I'm the one who sent Lynn the note.
Oh, you sent this note. You were
Yes.
so afraid that I was going to beat up on Doug. Now, he can take care of himself. What, you think I'm a scary person?
No, not...
Do you really think I was rude to Dimitri?
Oh, yes, you didn't like him. And it just showed. But that's all right. You don't have to like everyone.
No,
Well, the good thing is that you're supposed to be yourself on radio and television. So with Dimitri, Lynn was herself. That's what we say.
I do have a problem with Dimitri. And he knows it. He's cool
You mean it's
with
politics?
Doug, I've never heard you be nicer to anybody on the radio as you have been to the kids this week.
Oh, wasn't that a lot of fun? I did a thing with, I used to do it when I worked at night. I said, I want to hear from little kids, you know, like between 8, I would even take high school kids, and then you pray, because who in the heck is going to be listening to an AM radio station who's 8 and 15?
Yeah.
Well, it turned out a lot of mothers and fathers were, and they put their kids on, and it went for 2 hours, and I just had a wonderful time, and I thank you for the compliment. We're going to do that again somewhere down the road.
Would you let your child be alone with Doug Hoerth?
Well, what was funny about it, one mother was videotaping the kid while the kid was making the call, and I asked a couple of the parents, why would you let your kid listen? And the answer was, they don't get it, don't worry about it.
All right. Hey, Carl's back.
Okay. I'll bet $1 to the butcher. No,
I don't know. Carl.
Carl, are you the retired butcher?
Yes, that's me.
I told you. How are you, Carl?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
I've listened to your radio program here since you went back on the air, and you're just back like you were before, 3 to 6.
Same jerk I always was. You know, Jerry Seinfeld said his show is about nothing. Mine is about nothing much.
Well, you know, Bill and Otto and I always said you were an intelligent guy and you didn't have to go to that off-color stuff.
There, see?
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I had fun doing the off-color stuff. I like doing off-color stuff.
He's more respectable again, aren't you? You've cleaned
Carl, it's great to talk to you. Some night we'll get together and go to... You got any games this year?
I've gone to a couple games, but right now I'm tied up. I was in an automobile accident.
Well, I know you and the wife are into that, Carl. But we'll look for you somewhere down the road. I have your home telephone number. Take care, and thank you for calling.
Okay.
Bye now.
Good to hear you again.
See, that had a happy ending.
Isn't that wonderful? He was in an automobile accident. But you pick up on the tied up and do a joke. You didn't say, how are you? Did you break your neck?
Well, I'll find out when I see him at the hockey.
All right. Find out when you see him at the hockey.
He's telling me how to run my life. Get Judge Judy on the phone, would you please? Let's straighten this out.
Tom?
Dougie, Lynn's a beautiful woman, and every time we watch her show, we see her sitting down. How's her legs look?
I don't have good legs.
For mine. I can't comment on her. She hides them.
No, I don't have good legs.
Could you ask her to show us? Let us see what they look like.
I'll show you mine. You show me.
Here's odd. Jeez.
She's chicken. She won't do it.
No, my legs are not one of my strong suits, so why would I show them?
Well, what is your strongest suit?
I'm getting rid of you.
How doth your garden grow?
Your ear, that thing it's ringing. Why does it do that? Why do they do that? Get closer. My producer doesn't. You are backing up.
My ears are bigger than they were when I got these. I don't know.
You know, that is true. Your ears probably are. Your ears
all the
grow.
things that, you know, your nose continues to grow. I think your head and your ears. Ross Perot, you know, had ear surgery. I don't know if you know this or not.
He pinned them back?
No, there's some way to reduce. Remember how large they were?
You mean he had an ear reduction?
He had some kind of an ear reduction. But my point is, your ears get bigger, your nose gets bigger, your head gets bigger. All the stuff that counts, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doesn't get bigger.
No,
That's
shrivels up. I know. Isn't that true? Some things shrivel and droop. And
so what is your strong suit? What do you think is your strong suit?
What, you mean
your
physically?
Intellect, obviously. You're attractive.
Physically?
Yes,
You're reducing me to a shell. So what is my...
Why not?
Okay. What do you think? What part
I think you're an attractive woman.
Thank you. I do too. What part of my body do I like best? My strong suit?
You're saying your legs aren't hot?
No, they're not. I think my lips. I think.
Cowabunga.
I have beautiful shoulders, which you
great
can't
shoulders.
see.
Girl gives great shoulder blades.
I have lovely hands.
Your hands are nice.
Yes,
but
they're very pretty.
would they photograph those for a hand lotion? They're
No, I don't know, but they're pretty. They're long and thin, and you know, they made me take my ring off. They said it was burning a hole in the camera.
We got a brass knuckle.
Well, what is your strong suit?
My strong suit?
Physically.
I don't have a strong suit physically. My strong suit is, hopefully, I'm funny. Women have been attracted to my personality rather than my looks.
Well, I think my personality is a stronger suit than mine.
We were talking physical. I don't think I am.
See, women get reduced all the time, you know, to get, you know, you're like...
No, for a guy my age, I don't think I look that bad. I'm 71. I mean, what the hell? Oh, look at the over 68.
I know, and television doesn't do me justice, which is what people always say when they see me. I am, in fact, blonde and shapely and about 26.
Pamela Anderson look-alike in real life.
That's right. You'd be surprised if you saw me in person, really. Doug Hoerth, too.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that I'm really Lawrence Kane. A lot of people aren't aware of that.
We'll be back. We'll be back. Well, there's a radio station in town now that has the best talk lineup in town, if I must say so myself. Dr. Laura, 9 to noon, me, noon to 3, Doug Hoerth, 3 to 6. We couldn't get Dr. Laura to join us, but we got the Doug part, and that's at 1360 AM WPT.
Have you seen her on the internet, the naked pictures?
Yes, I did. Did you?
What'd you think?
What?
Let me put it to you this way. In her glory days, there wasn't a lot of glory
No,
there.
it was not. I mean, she's one of
And I'm one of the few people who knows the guy, Bill Balance, one of the legends of Los Angeles radio.
Who took the pictures and was her lover.
And didn't like her because apparently when she started to make her way up, she
was stabbing, and she was stabbing people in the back left and right. Not a nice woman, apparently.
Apparently not.
I mean,
and she brags, and no offense, Lynn gets upset about this when I talk about physical characteristics of people, but I make fun of myself. I beat the living daylights out of myself in the way I look, yada, yada, yada. This woman brags. I never had a facelift, honey. I wouldn't brag. I mean, let's be honest about it. With her money, you'd think she'd have a little nip and a tuck, facially.
Her face looks old. Yeah, her face does look old.
Very,
her body's in good shape, apparently.
Yeah, body's in no big deal.
Who cares?
Exactly.
That's Ron. Ron.
Yeah.
You're talking to Doug.
Hi. I liked the comments earlier about the airlines and the bank fees.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of wondered what Doug's take was on that and like the general level of service that you pay for and you get today.
Doug's an apologist for the business sector.
That's exactly right. I love airplanes. I love waiting 8-10 hours to get to Detroit. You heard about that in Detroit during the last
have
storm?
to fly through Detroit all the time to get to...
There were people who had something like an 8-hour wait on the runway. There's talk of a class action suit. Can you imagine me? What's the longest you've ever been in the air?
Well, probably, maybe about 8-9 hours. It's hell!
How do you do that?
Well, it's hell. Everything shuts down. Your body's miserable. It's awful. But at least I was fed. Yeah. The toilets were able to handle it.
At least you knew you were going to get somewhere.
Yeah, that was like a long,
but to be on a runway for 8 hours, and apparently fistfights broke out. People started forming small groups, and oh man,
they were imprisoned against their will. They're suing for false imprisonment.
Yes, they are.
They buy a ticket and they end up in prison. They're like a hostage situation.
Conversely, we sue over everything in this day.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kathy.
Good morning.
Hi.
I just wanted to say that I enjoy both of you, and it's good to see your smiling faces because it's hard to put an image behind the voice on the radio. And just keep doing what you're doing. That's all I really have to say. I mean, if you guys could think of some way to get on, like, instead of Regis and Kathy Lee, I think Pittsburgh would be a better place.
All right.
The question is, which one of us is Regis and which one of us is Kathy Lee, okay? I sure as hell ain't going to, and I don't think she wants to be.
I don't want to be either of them.
Kathy Lee's easy to pick on. This is a woman that nobody likes, but the ratings are phenomenal, and she makes $8 zillion
I think people do like her, and they won't
women
admit
like
it.
her.
Yeah, women like her.
Women like her, and women should blame themselves for liking this pretentious, whatever the heck it is that you want to call this annoying female.
I'm going to quickly get Teresa in here because we only have a minute left. Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
Teresa.
Thank you so much for the compliment, Teresa. We agree. We're the best talk show hosts in the history of Western civilization. God love you and good night.
So the show you're doing now is more like the show you were doing...
What I'm attempting to do is recreate the show that I did from 3 until 6. Fast-paced, phone calls. We're going to
few interviews. You had
we're going to
Julie
we had Julie Harrison on the other day. Chili Billy will be on this afternoon, and I am lining up some things along the way. And great to be back on the radio, 3 to 6, 1360. Please listen, please.
You don't need to beg. You don't need to beg.
I have no shame. Look what I do for a living. I mean, come on, you have to. Okay. They had to. Oh, you got to go.
I do. I have.
Okay.
How good of you to know that? Did you hear the music?
Yes.
Gee, I thought he was stone cold deaf.
Not as
You heard
deaf
the
as
music.
I thought.
Doug Hoerth, you tune us in. If you haven't gotten enough yet, I'll be starting up at noon, 1360 a.m. Monday through Friday. Doug comes in at 3, and I get the hell out of there. I'll be back in just a minute. We got lots of actors and folks coming up. Third Rock from the Sun cast members, French Stewart, Jan Hooks, veteran TV and film actor Adrian Zmed. On Monday, Tuesday, actress Linda Hamilton. Wednesday, Fabio. I'll be nice to him, I think. And, gee, we'll have those local parents of Quince on again with quads. Gosh, they Quince, we got 4. Isn't that enough? Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful day. See you later.